Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. How are you? I hope that you all are fit and fine at your home and are in good state. My dear students, I'm here, your teacher, with a new chapter and a new topic that I'm going to teach you. It's week 3, as you know, and it will continue from 20th April to 24th April. And let me give you a brief introduction of the topic, that is digestion, and the subtopics that we are going to study in this week are: why must food be digested, enzymes, conversion of insoluble starch into soluble sugar by saliva, and the resources or the reference that will help you to understand this lesson, that is your lower secondary science 2 book, which is chapter number 9, digestion, and the page number that we will be covering today, it's from 81 to page number 83, and one additional topic that we will do from page number 87, and quick questions will be available on page number 88 and 89. There will be link for you to watch the videos and PPT slides that you are going to listen now, and by the end of this lecture you will have an assignment to solve at your home. So, objectives. Let me introduce to you certain objectives of this today's lesson. By the end of this lesson, you people will be able to define digestion, explain the purpose of digestion, explain digestive enzymes with the help of examples, and illustrate an experiment to show the conversion of insoluble starch into soluble glucose. Okay, my very first question to you. You have studied in your previous lesson that was about food. You have studied about major food components: carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and lipids, and etc. Some other were there also, and you also studied about balanced diet. So my question is to you, that you have taken your food, how you are going to digest that food? What is the purpose of that digestion, or why must our food should be digested? Have you ever thought, or have you ever think about it, that why you need the food to be digested? Think about it, my dear. Food is basically, you are taking in food to get energy, okay, and for that energy, that food must be digested. The food that you eat in your daily diet, it consists of partially small soluble and diffusible molecules like sugars, minerals, and vitamins, and it mainly consists of large insoluble and indiffusible like starch, proteins, and fats. This content will be available to you on page number 82 of your science 2 book under the topic headlines: why must food be digested. Energy basically that you get from this food is released during cellular respiration. Now, cellular respiration, you should understand what is cellular respiration. Respiration is basically the breakdown of glucose, molecules to release carbon dioxide and water and energy. The cellular is the word that this process takes place at the level of cell, okay. The food is broken down into different compounds and energy is released, and that energy which is released get absorbed into the blood at the cell level, okay. So this is called as cellular respiration. The breaking down of food into different compounds to get energy at the level of cell is called cellular respiration. The purpose of food to be digested is to make it soluble, diffusible, and eventually getting the energy. Whatever you eat, you know it very clearly, my dear, that you cannot take it in your body as it is. You chew it, you digest it, you break it into small particles, then you swallow it, and then you get energy from that. The bigger molecules like starch, it cannot be the part of cell. Now here you might be thinking of what is starch. Basically bete, in our body there are two types of molecules, the small molecules and the large molecules. Starch is the large molecule, is another name for carbohydrates that we take in our food. Okay, so the structure and the how they look like, the structure wise, how they are bonding, that is not up to your level. You just need to understand that starch are the carbohydrates that you take in your food, and they cannot be digested as they are. They should be converted into small molecules, like their smaller components, which are glucose. Then they are absorbed in the blood cells, because when something is not dissolved in the blood, you cannot get energy. Actually, when it is absorbed in blood cells, then you are going to get that energy. Okay, without the absorption there is no concept of energy. Okay, so the large molecules are converted into smaller ones, and those small molecules absorbed into the blood cells, and then you get the energy. Okay, so here comes the definition of the process, which is called digestion. The process of breaking down food into small, soluble and diffusible. Dear students, you need to memorize these three keywords: small, soluble and diffusible. Means food should be small, it should be soluble. Soluble means it should dissolve in the blood. Diffusible, it should diffuse through the molecules, through the walls of the cells. Okay, small, soluble and diffusible molecules is called digestion. How you are going to break them? It's from large to small, insoluble to soluble and indiffusible to diffusible molecules. Okay, so this process is called digestion. This diagram is actually giving you the concept. You can see the single small bowl over here. It's presenting glucose molecule, and the three atoms or the three circles that are going to join together, they are making starch molecule. So here one thing that glucose is small molecule, and when these small molecules combine together, they form large starch molecules. Okay, here is a picture. These are large starch molecules, and they cannot get dissolved through the intestinal wall or through the walls of our cells into the blood. So they first need to be converted into small, these small, you can say separately small, very small molecules. These are large molecules and these are small molecules. When this starch is going to convert into these small molecules, then these molecules can get into the blood very easily. So this diagram is actually giving you the concept that how starch is converting into glucose, and that is absorbing into the blood. Here you can see this paragraph that glucose molecules are very small enough to dissolve and diffuse through the walls of intestine. Intestine is the part of your alimentary canal from where the absorbed food actually gets mixed with the blood. Okay, and you get energy from that food. Starch molecules are insoluble and too large to diffuse through the intestinal wall, so starch has to be digested first before our body can use it. Like in this diagram you can see starch molecule is going to be dissolved first into glucose, and then our blood is going to carry it and we are getting the energy. Okay, so this was how that 5 must food be digested. Digestion is necessary to get the energy, but digestion takes place to break down the large food components into smaller food components. Dear students, please come on page number 82. Here is an extra information for you that I have mentioned a question in your assignment as well, so there is a need to discuss about this. Biological washing powders, it contain enzymes which break down the stains like blood, egg, coffee, grease or sweat. Biological washing powders, as you know, you are very much familiar with the Ariel, the washing powder that you use at your homes, or might be your mother use it for washing your clothes. Okay, so that washing powders, why they are called as biological? They are called biological because they contains enzymes, and those enzymes basically help to break down those the blood, egg, coffee, and the other stains which are not easy to remove with the normal washing powders. Okay, so keep it in your mind. Now let me tell you what are enzymes. Basically, enzymes the digestion of food is not completed without the action of enzymes. Enzymes, my dear, they are chemical, they are proteins, they are components of the proteins. Okay, they actually help in digestion. There are two types of enzymes. The one are the normal enzymes, and the other ones are the digestive enzymes. Enzymes are basically complex molecules of proteins. Okay, they are special type of proteins which are produced by our body for bringing out or speeding up different chemical reactions in our body. Okay, enzymes kya hai? Enzymes are special types of proteins. What they do, they speed up the chemical reaction. Okay, so here I have used the term digestive enzymes. Digestive enzymes are different from enzymes. Enzymes basically speed up the chemical reaction, and digestive enzymes are going to speed up the process of digestion. Okay, so these specific enzymes which are going to help in digestion, they are called as digestive enzymes. As I have told you that starch is going to convert into sugar, but this action is not completed without enzymes. So enzymes are very specific in nature. This thing you have to keep in your mind, that enzymes are very specific in nature. Different food components that you take, like carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, and lipids, and other things also. But one enzyme, if it is breaking carbohydrates, it will not break proteins. If it is breaking proteins, it will not break fats. Okay, here I have given you an example that in our body, in our mouth, there is saliva, and these secretions produce a very specific enzyme which are called as amylase, and amylase is going to digest starch, which is another name for carbohydrates. This diagram is showing you the concept of action of enzyme, how an enzyme is going to act. Look at the first diagram. It's a part of starch molecule. You can see the smaller one is showing you the key glucose molecule, and many glucose molecules are combined here to form a starch molecule. It's not the complete starch molecule, it's the small part of starch molecule. Okay, so it is made up of small glucose glucose molecules which are chemically joined together, and here you can see it's an enzyme. When enzyme is attacks the starch molecules, it's going to break it down. Certain types of enzymes, and as I have told you that which enzyme break down the starch, that is amylase. Amylase break down the starch molecules, and here you can see that enzyme has broken down the starch into smaller compounds. This is how, or this all are explaining the mechanism of an enzyme. Large molecule, action of enzyme, and large are converted into smaller molecules. Okay, so the reactions in digestion are speed up with the help of teeth. Our teeth break the large food molecules into small food particles and increase their total surface area. Basically, chewing, there is the teeth are very much a good blessing of Allah Ta'ala. Our whole body is a blessing. The teeth are actually, we chew the food, and when we chew the food, we actually break it down into small pieces, and by that small pieces the total surface area of that food is increased. And when surface area is increased, there will be large area for enzymes to act properly, and this will allow enzymes to come in contact with the food molecules more rapidly, and the action of enzymes will increase. Okay, so it's a very easy experiment. that is you can do in your labs as well. So it's the conversion of insoluble starch into soluble sugar by saliva. So for this experiment, let's investigate that how it happens. You can see the two beakers, okay, A and B. In the both beakers the water is filled, okay, and inside those beakers there is a whisking tubing placed, and the one tube contains starch and other tube contains starch plus saliva. What are you getting from this diagram or this pictorial representation? The starch in this experiment, here you can see two beakers, beaker A and beaker B, and inside these beakers there is a tube which is called as whisking tubing. Now here you should know that what is whisking tubing. So it's in science tidbit you can see that whisking tubing is a type of plastic which behaves in a similar way to the walls of small intestine, and small soluble particles diffusing through the whisking tubing are similar to those that diffuse through the walls of small intestine. Actually, what happens when the food get digested, it is dissolved through the walls of small intestine into our blood, and the whisking tubing is a similar kind, or you can say that it's a material which behaves similar way as the small intestine. So in A it's starch only, and in B starch is mixed with saliva. Both whisking tubings are immersed in the beakers which contain water. Okay, after 15 minutes the water surrounding each whisking tubing is tested for the presence of starch and sugars. Do you understand this experiment? Do you have any idea that what will happen? The water, you know that water has the ability to dissolve. Water is a good solvent. Starch is a macromolecule or a large indiffusible molecule. So do you think that starch can diffuse through water? No. But if starch is mixed with saliva, what saliva will do? It will digest the large molecules of starch into the small molecules of glucose, and then those glucose molecules will get dissolved through these walls of whisking tubing into the water. And here are some observations. These are certain questions. If you understood the experiment, you might be able to answer these questions meanwhile. My question number 1, or the observation 1: does the surrounding water in each beaker contain starch? Surrounding water in each beaker. Tell me, does the surrounding water in each beaker contain starch? So think about it. What will be your answer? I will discuss the answer later with you. In which beaker is sugar absent? So beaker A or beaker B? In which sugar will be absent? Then, is the whisking tubing a partially permeable membrane? Do you think that it is a partially permeable? Partially permeable means it allows some particles to pass through and others not. Again, next observation is, what is the purpose of adding saliva to the starch? See why we have added saliva with the starch. Note down your answers with yourself, and I will repeat the answers for your guideline. Name the substance found in saliva which is responsible for different results. Are you done with it? Okay, come to the first observation. Does the surrounding water in each beaker contain starch? Does the surrounding water in each beaker contain starch? No, there will be no starch in every beaker. In which beaker is sugar absent? Tell me where the sugar is absent. Obviously, it's beaker A. There is no sugar. This is only starch, and starch is large indiffusible molecule. It will not get dissolved into water, and there will be no sugar. There will be sugar in only and only B molecule, because The saliva will act upon starch, and starch will convert it into glucose, and that glucose will dissolve through these walls into the water. Got the answer? Is the whisking tubing partially permeable membrane? Yes, it is partially permeable. It is not allowing starch to pass through, but it is allowing the glucose to pass through. So it is partially permeable. What is the purpose of adding saliva to the starch? Basically, saliva helps in the digestion of carbohydrates. So saliva is added to break down the starch into glucose. And the last observation, name the substance found in saliva which is responsible for different results. So my dear, you all are very familiar. I have told you that there are certain digestive enzymes present in the saliva, and the specifically name of those digestive enzymes are amylase. Amylase break down the starch into saliva. I hope that this experiment is now clear to you. Okay, these observations are written on page number 87, and you can note down your answer with those questions. Okay boys, okay my students, now home assignment is, please come on your review exercise. Question number 1, why is there need for food to be digested? I am very sure that you can answer it now very clearly. Review question number 2, what are enzymes? And how do digestive enzymes aid means help in the process of digestion? You know it very well. Review question number 4, that is, briefly describe an experiment to investigate the conversion of insoluble starch into soluble and diffusible sugar by saliva. So this is the whole answer. It's an experiment. You can draw these diagrams, and in the description you can write this, and observations you can write with the complete answers. That will be your answer for review question number 4. And it's an additional question for you that you have to search biological washing powders and note down any 2 names on your notebook or book. And this is a very interesting video. Must watch it. It's telling you about the different kind of enzymes, how they are acting on our body, and from where they are releasing actually, because different body organs release different enzymes, different glands secrete different enzymes. So this video will help you to know that which kind of enzymes are going to break down lipids, and which are going to break down proteins, and which are going to break down fats. Okay, so here are little recap that in this lesson you studied. Number 1, digestion. You got the definition of digestion, why food to be digested. You understood about the large molecules and small molecules. I am pretty sure now that you can give examples for large ones, and you can also give examples for small one. Might be you people are recalling the lesson while I am saying these words, and starch and lipid and fats are coming into your mind as the example of large molecules. And you also understood what is the bloodstream, the flow of blood to absorb the small particles of food. And you also understood the difference between enzymes and digestive enzymes. And in a diagram I have also told you about the action of digestive enzymes, how they act on the food particles and convert it into the smaller ones. Okay, in the next lecture we will continue from here, and we will understand and we will study the human digestive system properly. So till then, stay safe and stay healthy. Take care, and Allah Hafiz.